Hello and welcome, students. Today I'm actually going to be reviewing a piece I have yet to perform in my band, but I purchased it last year, and for anyone interested in how I plan to perform this piece, this could be a unique addition to your concert. The piece is called Band of Heroes. It's composed by Erika Svanoe, and it is just a unique piece. I read about it in J.W. Pepper a couple years ago, and it kind of scared me. So if you're familiar with those books that are called Choose Your Own Adventure books, at the end of page 10, it may say, if you want to enter the cave, go to page 11. If you want to go into the forest, go to page 20. And you kind of choose your own adventure and find different endings. This piece could be for you, okay? It's going to require not just your band to learn the music, but you're also going to need a slideshow up so the audience can follow along with the story. And then at certain parts in the piece, you're going to ask the audience what section to go to. So the piece is divided with an intro, and then there's sections 1, 2, and 3. And at the end of the first opening, you will get a choice. You will give the audience a choice of going to section 1 or 2. And then at the end of that, you will either go to sections 3 or 1 or sections 2 or 3. And then after you finish that second section, you will go to the third section you didn't do. So you have 4 options. You will go sections 1, 2, 3, sections 1, 3, 2, sections 2, 1, 3, or sections 2, 3, 1. And then everyone will move on to section 4. And then there's one more voting. And I didn't understand this when I bought the piece and I watched it online. But the audience will get to vote on what weapon to slay the giant with in the story, a mighty sword or the magical whip. And I didn't understand this at first, but there's 2 different percussion instruments. They'll both be introduced at this section when the voting happens. The mighty sword is the anvil or a break drum, and the magical whip, I'm using a slapstick. Audience will choose which weapon will be used, and then that person will play the piece, play the percussion part to the end of the song. So it's a fun way to interact with your audience. If you're someone who likes to plan a varied concert and doesn't mind using some technology, this might be very helpful to you. For today's instruction, I'm going to be using all Google products. So if you're someone who uses Microsoft, you might want to go a different route, but hopefully this will just give you some ideas of where to start. She suggests using polling software to poll the audience with. Unfortunately, all of the websites I looked at wanted to charge me a fee because they were only for small groups of polling, and the auditorium where I plan to perform this piece at holds 900 people, so I expect at least 500 people to be participating on their phones, and so that's why I'm going with Google Forms today. So I'm going to be using Google Slides, I'm going to be using the screenshot function, I'm going to be using Google Forms, and I will be using a free QR code generator. So if you're unfamiliar with those products, this may be a little confusing, but I'm going to switch over to my computer screen, and we are going to start right at her website. I'm going to get there now. All right, here you can see I'm at her website right now, and if you look under compositions, you're going to scroll down to Concert Band Grade 3. This is a Grade 3 piece. And we're looking for Band of Heroes, an interactive musical adventure for band. And you'll notice she'll have the standard YouTube videos here if you want to listen to the piece. Listen, one's a MIDI recording, the other one's a full band recording, just going through sections 1, 2, and 3 in order. But down here you can see the score, which has all the instructions I'm kind of going through now, if you're someone who'd rather see a video than read them. Here's the PowerPoint presentation, and then in the music, when I bought it, there was a slides narrator 4-page piece to follow along with. The presentation guide's similar to that. It's a little bit longer, so someone's going to have to control the slideshow that I'm going to pull up right now. This is going to download it. I might have downloaded it earlier today, so it's downloading it as a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to show you how to open it inside of Google Slides. So we're going to go to Google Slides. This is just a copy I made. We're going to make another one. Okay, so if you have Google Slides open, you can click on this little open box, and then you can upload it from your downloads, wherever you downloaded it to. So I'm going to upload it from here. And this way, if you struggle with computers, you watching this, hopefully this will be helpful. So here we go, Band of Heroes. We're going to upload that PowerPoint presentation I just showed you. And it's going to just bring it up inside Google Slides. And right away, I would rename it for your school. So once this comes up, it's a little bit slower because I'm recording the screen. But I'll just record it. Band of Heroes, my school version. Okay. And so this slideshow will be going on as the band performs the piece. The first, Band of Heroes, this will be open before the piece starts. And then all of a sudden, they're going to hit a couple slides as the piece begins. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. No one's going to be narrating this if you don't have to have someone narrate it. People are just going to be reading and following along. I suggest having a qualified co-worker run this slideshow who can read music, unless you have a student who is definitely on the ball. Just in case something happens, the band gets behind or whatnot, you want somebody who can just catch up and get this through. So you'll notice as we go through the slides, I'm not going to go in presentation mode just so you can see. This is the first section. It's all about the Queen's missing crown. Will you help me find it? And the audience are the people helping you find it. Will you join the Band of Heroes? And that's the piece, okay? And then the people around you agree to help. Where will you start? And this is where the choice happens. You're going to get to choose between choice 1 or choice 2. I'm going to put the 3 choices on the bottom in a minute. The first choice, section 1, is Spooky Woods. Second choice is Flowery Fields. And then they go to here. Now the reason these are in blue, because the person running the slideshow, if the audience votes for Flowery Fields, that's going to jump further along in the slide. So it's going to take you to a different spot. You'll see the link is for slide 48. We are only on slide 13. You don't really need to worry about the order of the slides. You just need to know where to place the QR codes. That's what I'm going to show you. So how is the audience supposed to vote? I suggest using a Google form. Just putting this question and these answers in a Google form. So if you've never used Google Forms before, you just find Google Forms in your little waffle. Google Forms is one of these options. Forms is right here, it's purple. And we're just going to create a blank form. The one thing you're going to want to check off is under settings, you want to make sure that it's not restricted to people from your district. You want to make sure anyone can open it, okay? So we'll just title this Band of Heroes. And you can title it number 1, number 2, but we're just going to put it right here. We don't have to collect emails. You can change that in the settings. Collecting emails, form defaults. Yeah, do not collect. So we can go back to questions. And the question is, what do you choose? Okay. And we had 2 options. Let's go back. Spooky Woods, Flowery Fields, the Spooky Woods. We're not going to do this for all of them. I'm just showing you how I do this. And the Flowery Fields. Now I've already done all this. I'm just showing you how to do it. Okay, and to make this a little more interesting, let's title it Band of Heroes number 1. Okay, I think I already have one like that, so I'm just going to title it Band of Heroes number 1 new for me, so it doesn't get mixed up. And one thing I did, I actually zoomed in here, so let's zoom in a little bit. That's not zooming in. I don't want to fit. Here we go. All right, so if you hit the following keys on your keyboard, Shift, Windows key, S, that will bring up the clip function for screenshots. And I'm just going to screenshot this. That's going to save it. And then when I go back to Band of Heroes, under the Customize Theme, I want to change, under here, I want to get rid of this, get rid of here, choose the image. And this image should be saved if you're using a Windows computer under your screenshots folder. So I'm going to go there now and under pictures and screenshots, and you'll see it's right here. And this actually looks really nice. I did this for all of mine. Okay, we could just do this. For the next one, I'll try to make it a little bit better, but let's see how that looks. The Spooky Woods, Flowery Fields. So which one do they choose? Okay, now we're done. I always like to make the background a different color, so kind of blend it in. That makes it the color of the lettering and whatnot. So how do we share this? How do we get this to the audience? Could you put the links in the program? Sure, but parents aren't going to want to type that. So we want to find out how to get the QR code. We hit send, we go into the link button, and you could just copy the link. Now, to make a free QR code, I tried a few ones. Sometimes you have to sign up for something. QR code monkeys seem to be easy. All right, I just searched free QR code. All right, and let's see if that shows up, which number. All right, that looks like it's the first one. All right, so this is pretty basic. You just paste the URL here. That's what you just set. Okay, and that's really all you need, because you're not doing any extras. You're going to hit create QR code, and now you're going to download it. Okay, please do not refresh or close the window. It's just being generated right now. Okay, that's all done. Now you might want it, since you're doing multiple ones, you might want to rename it. I'm just going to rename it right now. Number 1, okay? Because you're going to need it in a second. So now we're going back to Band of Heroes, my school version, and you can add the QR code here. All right, so you're going to insert image, upload. This is the QR code you just had. It's under downloads. QR code number 1. And it's probably going to be a little big. It's not too big. And you bring it right in the center. And you might want to make it a little bit smaller. Okay? And if need be, you can move this box up a little bit. Sometimes, there we go. So if we move that up, then we can make this a little bit bigger. And basically, before the piece starts, you might want to tell people to get their phones out. Now what I did was I copied this, and then I put it on this slide, and I put it on this slide, okay? And once again, let's move these guys up just a little bit. All right. And we'll move this one up. Okay. And there we have it. So as you're going through the slide, the people around you will agree to you. The people around you agree to help as well. Where will you start? Asked the Queen. Will you search the spooky woods? They'll hold up their phone, get the QR code. This way they can start voting earlier. Or will you try the flowery fields? Now I tried to get the results to show up on the screen. I saw another video where they had the results. Now polling software probably will do that. Here you keep having to refresh it. So I left the results off. The person running the computer is also going to be checking that on a separate computer and then letting me know. I may have a computer too, so I can see. But basically, that's what's going to happen. When we get to this screen, 13, all right, what do you choose? Oh, I already went by it. The band actually plays a vamp. It's for the first one, it's just the percussion section. They'll play, they'll play, they'll play. Once I've decided what section we're going to, section 1 or 2, I will need to cue the band, and then there's a gong part, a gong crescendo in the vamp, and that will signify that the percussion's done, and we're going to move on to either section 1 or 2. They should know because they were looking up and watching me. Okay, section 1 is a lot slower tempo than section 2, so if anyone's lost, they'll know by that tempo, okay? And so let's say we picked Flowery Fields. Let's say we picked slide. We went here first, so this is number 2. When we get to the end of number 2, you're gonna have the option of going to number 1 or number 3, okay? So you walk back through the Flowery Fields, where do you go next? You could put the QR code here for Spooky Woods and Dancing Fairies. Now, this would be making a second Google form. Now, what if you would have went to Spooky Woods? Let's go back to slide 13. You may see where I'm going here, but if we went to Spooky Woods, which is the next slide, we go through, that's section 1. And, all right. Try the Flowery Fields or bother the Dancing Fairies instead. So here's another spot where you would make another QR code, depending on how you title them. QR code 2, QR code 3. All right, you're going to need to make a total of 4 Google Forms, but in the performance, you're only going to use 3 of them. You'll definitely use the first one and you'll use the weapon one, but you're not sure which one you're going to use for the other 2, okay? But you need to make 4 Google Forms and you need to make 4 QR codes. So if you have questions about that, please comment below. I just want to make sure you understand. I showed you how to use the Google Slides. I showed you how to use the Google Forms, the QR code, and even do the screenshot. And then let's go down. We'll go down here. At the end of each of the section, they'll have an option to go to Lady of the Lake. You'll see that here, and that will actually jump ahead to slide 85. So here you're at slide 35. Lady of the Lake is section 4. Depending on what order you go in, that's going to lead you to Lady of the Lake. So Lady of the Lake goes through, and you don't need a QR code here yet. All right, to help you in your fight, you may choose a mighty sword or a magical whip. And as they say mighty sword, you'll hear the anvil play. I'm actually going to have that person come in front of the screen on one side, and for the mighty whip, I'm going to have that person come in front of the screen on the other side. I'm probably going to have 2 people playing it just to make it that much louder, and then we'll decide which one wins, okay? So I'll do one more Google slide. So we finished that one. Let's open up another one. I'm not going to worry about the whole email thing. We'll just leave that there. And we'll call this Band of Heroes 4, okay? Just in case you needed more help with this. If not, you can jump ahead in the video. And we'll call this Band of Heroes number 4. And I'll try to get that correct for you. Oh, that did not work. Band of Heroes number 4. Okay. What will you choose? And let's make sure that's the same question. Yeah, what do you choose? What do you choose? Okay. And we're going to lower this to 80%. And let's screenshot this. Remember, it's Shift, Windows key, and S. Got it now, saved, and then we're going to go to the customize theme. And if you're someone who needs to see something a second time, hopefully this will help. Choosing the image, we're going to upload from screenshots. All right, so screenshots can be found under pictures in most computers. So here we go. And let's see if this looks any better. Maybe I did better. It still doesn't look great. So maybe maybe this is what I did. I just zoomed in on here. So, and I think that might work out better. Okay. And here we'll choose the dark color. And what were the options? Mighty sword and magical whip. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Okay. Now I've done this in my rehearsals. I've let the students use the QR codes and whatnot. I feel like that just to build the excitement, because it's hard to explain to them what a Choose Your Own Adventure book is if they've never read it, and to describe what a Choose Your Own Adventure piece is, it's definitely tough. Hopefully, if you are considering this piece, this clarified the piece a lot better for you, gave you a little, I guess, a place to start if you're interested in working on this piece. I'm very excited. I always like trying different things in band. I like getting my students excited, and believe it or not, this composer actually has 2 Choose Your Own Adventure pieces. I only knew about the one, and then this year when I was doing some research for it, I found the second one, which looks even more exciting. But I'm going with Band of Heroes, which is a little bit harder. Lots of 6/8. If you are teaching your band 6/8, a great middle school time signature. I think it's really working out. I'm going to do a post follow-up video later in May on how it went, what went well, what didn't go well, and hopefully in the future, if I can do this piece again, I'd like to work with an honors band with this piece. I think that would be exciting. Give them a taste, because I feel like a lot of conductors and teachers might be a little afraid to start this piece, but if they see someone else do this, this might work out well. If you have a projector screen that can come down halfway so you can still see the band, that would be best. I checked with my school. They need the projector screen all the way down for the projector to work correctly, which is fine. The band will just be behind the projector screen because the audience will be focusing on that screen for most of the piece, except for those percussionists who are going to come out and just be exciting in front of them. Looking back in here, this may be a little scary, but it says 102 slides. You're not actually going to go through 102 slides for the piece. It all depends on what order you play the parts in. If you didn't want to really involve the audience, you could just play the piece 1, 2, 3. You could have both weapons and you would just be playing a piece. But I think it's much more exciting if you're able to do the slideshow. It's just a lot of planning and putting that together. I wish you the best in working this piece. If you have any questions, feel free to message me in the comments below. I wish you the best in practicing this piece, and good luck in your upcoming performance.